Hi, I'm Graham from Second Era of Moles, and if you've clicked on this video accidentally, 90 seconds is all I ever ask. Welcome back to another week that was on Pokemon Masters X. We're right at the doorstep of the second anniversary, so it's been a very busy week. I'm not going to spend too long on an introduction, but the format is going to be Champion Stadium first, then talk about the legendary events, then talk about the legendary arena with Cresselia, and then talk about random bits and pieces and anniversary related stuff at the end. So, Champion Stadium, here we go. I'll admit, I saw the weakness lineup for this one, and I thought I'm going to absolutely breeze through this one. Didn't quite work out that way, but still reasonably comfortable. I think the unlocking of 6x supports and strikers has really helped to bring the difficulty of the Champion Stadium down a lot. So without further ado, we'll get into round 1, in which you get a sync move countdown reduction. I chose to go up against Lance because he was weak to fairy types, and the team that I picked was Signasuit Blue and Blastoise, Xerneas and Sycamore and Lily and Clefairy. I was planning to use Eevee in there. I thought with sync move countdown you use lots of sync moves, so easy Eevee does that. Easy Eevee for the stats boost, but it wasn't quite working, so I subbed in Blastoise for all of the bonuses that he gets. The real challenge for this one is taking down Dragonite, because Dragonite is very powerful, the sides are not. Xerneas can absolutely wipe the floor with the two support units. You just have to take down Dragonite first. Easier said than done. So I took a bit of a gamble, and I was lucky that it paid off. I decided that my first sync move was going to be with Xerneas to get those stats boosts on special attack and speed. Special defense, not so much. Then I was going to use Blue and Blastoise second, so that 6x boost was even bigger. I should have been wiped out by Dragonite just before that second sync move, to be honest. I had like maybe half health and he had a Hyper Beam lined up, but it missed. Allowed me to sync with Blue and get that team endurance, and I think that's what saved me in the end. So I was using Lily to reduce stats as well. That's why she's in the team. She's also a fairy type, so she has the type advantage. Lance did eventually take down both Blastoise and Lily, but by that point I had Dragonite down to sort of 10%, even less than that, of its health, so I was able to finish it off with Xerneas and Hornleech. I actually got to the stage where I was waiting for the enemy to attack so I could use Hornleech and restore all of my health. But once Dragonite went down, it was just no pity for either side. They got the full antler treatment. On to round 2 then, and your condition for this one is the additional effects of moves are much more likely to happen. I chose to take on Agatha for this one. She was weak to ice types, so the team was Getsis and Kyurem, Signasuit, Elesa and Rotom, and Eevee and Leaf. This one went mostly as planned, so what I was hoping for was the additional effect of Glaciate is freezing, so we get some freezing, then move point refreshes on either Glaciate itself, Breathtaking, or Potions, so that I could keep everyone topped up, keep that sync move timer going down. And yeah, some of those happened, some of those didn't, but we managed to get through. This team works quite well together. You've got Elesa boosting the special attack, you've got Getsis and Curium, obviously the main striker. Glaciate is devastating if you're weak to ice types. Eevee has Let's Go, which can refresh the move bar. She's also got potions to provide healing, tackle for flinch as well. I had Eevee sync first, then Elesa second, and then I'm not sure if I got one, but then Kyurem would have used the sync moves after that. You get Breathtaking in there so that you get 2 sync moves in before the enemy can do 1, which is always very useful. And I can't remember whether I got any freezing, but it didn't bother me either way, because the sides, like, they don't do anything, because Glaciate hits everyone, they go down a lot more quickly. And then you're just left trying to freeze Golbat. And when he goes down, you're like, yep, run along, Agatha. Run along. In round 3, your condition is a move gauge boost. I took on Lorelei, who was weak to fighting types. I thought that would work well because my main fighting type is B. She has Meteor Assault, which is a 4-bar move, so if it's refilling more quickly, that means she can get more attacks in there with her Leek Sword, or Surf-Etched Leek Sword. So the team was Surf-Etched, and then 2 water support types in Hilbert and Samurott, and then Misty and Starmie. By God, was this a frustrating round. So whenever Lapras gets hit with an attack, its evasiveness goes up, super annoying, and it can also have a crit hit shield, so it puts that up and you're suddenly not doing the big damage that you think you should be doing, especially for someone like B, whose grid kind of revolves around maxing out that crit hit damage. So it took me a few attempts, and I wanted to slap that Lapras so hard. You get a lot of boosts from your 2 supports, so Misty can boost special defense for everyone, she can boost evasiveness as well, Hilbert does speed, attack and crit hit rate, so all good from those 2. I did wonder afterwards, maybe I should have gone with Eevee in this team rather than the previous one, given that it can boost those stats that B doesn't necessarily boost herself. But you know, I was eager to use Eevee this week. The major breakthrough that I made for this one to be successful was, rather than trying to take out the sides first, I decided to concentrate on Lapras. The reason this works better is that you should, with the amount of damage that B outputs, be able to take Lapras down either just before or just after its sync move, and that will mean that it won't have boosted its evasiveness too high, and also it most likely won't have put that crit hit shield up, which means that you can dominate the 2 sides and take them out reasonably quickly. And you really don't want Lapras to max out that evasiveness. At one point, I think it dodged like 7 attacks in a row. And when you're using a 4-bar move, it's like, I can't keep doing this. I cannot keep doing this. And then it's also like, why do I never get that kind of luck? I'm lucky if I've got max evasiveness and I manage to dodge 1 or 2 in an entire battle. So it's like, it continues to be frustrating and possibly broken. I don't know, blaming the game for my own failings. But to overcome that, you could look to add someone to boost that accuracy. I know off the top of my head that Lily does that. Or you could look to bring someone in with Piercing Gaze, either through their grid or passive skills or lucky skills. The good thing is that when Meteor Assault does hit, it's an absolutely devastating attack. So it'll take out Lapras, it'll take out the 2 sides. They don't do attacks that hit everyone, so you're good to let Misty tank a bit and Hilbert tank a bit while B goes to work. And then after that, round 4 was a bit of a blessing. Your condition is permanent field effects. The final member left was Bruno. He was weak to water types, so that means you can just set rain and have your water type strikers go to work. I chose to go with Barry because he is my favourite, and then with that came May to set the weather as raining, and Rosa and Serperia to boost special attack. And this team worked together really well, so Barry does no hesitation to boost its speed, crit hit and special attack. May sets the rain, and then she's either using Muddy Water or Ready for This to boost her stats. Rosa's boosting special attack. And you could sync with Rosa first to get that 6x boost, or you could go with Barry. It doesn't make much difference either way, because your water types are going to be doing a lot of damage. So Barry's going to be doing Bubble, that hits everyone. Muddy Water hits everyone, so it's going to take out the sides very quickly with that. And then your sync moves are going to be super powerful as well. So it should just be a gentle row your boat gently down the stream for this one. And so in the championship round, you're facing blue yet again. This week he's sending out his Alakazam. Alakazam's weak to bug types. I tried going with an all bug type team, but I just don't have one that I can trust. I've got a few that are alright, but none that are going to take down the champion of the Elite Four. So your permanent condition here is status conditions are more likely to take effect, yada yada yada. I chose to go with the optional condition of the additional effects of moves are more likely to occur. I was thinking that you get a boost maybe for a passive that does poison, for example. So in the end, I went for a poison trap team of Venusaur and Leaf, Masquerain and Viola, and Swanna and Skylar. I was going for sort of poison trap, but then with strength conditions in there. It took me a couple of attempts, but I got the job done in the end. The main reason was it took a while for poison to stick onto the other team. So obviously you start off with Viola doing Infestation, and that's guaranteed trap. But when Leaf is using Razor Leaf, it's not guaranteed. And I'm sure I've never had to wait that long as I had to in some battles. In some battles I was past my second sync move before it even happened, and I'm like, what the hell? But then if you get it on early, it makes life so much easier for you. So Infestation, Razor Leaf, Razor Leaf, Razor Leaf, Take Flight with Swanna, and then you've got potions from 2, you've got Mega Healing, so you should be able to keep your health at reasonable levels. The main mistake I think I made was not syncing with Skylar first. I wanted to sync with Venusaur and get Mega Venusaur. You get an attack boost from Mega Healing if you've got Mega Venusaur. Too many megas in that sentence. And it probably made life a little bit more difficult for me than it should have done. You don't want to worry about the two sides. If they've got poison on them, they're going to last 1, maybe 2 moves each. It's not even worth worrying about them. It's Alakazam you've got to be focusing on. But while Alakazam is there, it's a definite slog. So you're still using Razor Leaf and you're using Struggle Bug with Viola, so that's going to reduce special attack. Razor Leaf is going to reduce either defense or special defense, so that helps you out as well. Skylar is doing beautiful Skylar things, but as long as you're doing everything you need to keep yourself alive and you're staying patient, this one should go down eventually. And that's another 7,500 point run for the Kanto region. Next week we're back in Kanto again, so hopefully you'll join me on that, and we'll be up on the thingy platform again celebrating. So just a few quick words on the legendary events that we've got going on at the moment. They all last into September, so you've got plenty of time left on them still. For the Howling Shield of Eternity event, I thought that for the sort of pool 20 onwards you were only getting 1 3-star ticket. It's actually 10, so that makes it a lot more worthwhile to pull for. So maybe a bit frustrating, but that's where I'm spending my stamina, is getting tokens so I can pull on that. I think I've got, 3 or 4 already, so it's worth having to upgrade to 4-star tickets. And then for the events for Palkia, Xerneas and Kyurem, you could continue to do those. I know I'm going to do the daily battles just so that I can have a few pulls, maybe get some leveling up items, but there's no headliner item that's all that worth having, so you can get through them pretty quickly, but there's no point in going hard after them after you're done, if that makes sense. In fact, I'm not even doing any more with Palkia because there's not even a daily battle for it. I have been happy with the event though. There's been plenty of tickets come out of it, and it's allowed me to level up plenty of 4-star units to 5-star, which is what I'm doing. I'm systematically upgrading 3-star to 4-star and then 4-star to 5-star. And then 5-star to 6x if you can, but that's a long way off. The one thing that is worth doing is the full force battles, so I'm going to go through quickly what I did for each of the 3 of them. Xerneas' full force battle has weaknesses to Fairy, Dark and Flying. I went with the classic triple support of Sawyer, Xerneas and Swanna. So Xerneas is in there for your striker when they're weak to Fairy types, and then when it switches to Dark types you're relying on Sawyer. Swanna is there because she's a fantastic support. She provides healing as well, so you're going between Moonbeam, Hornleech and Dark Pulse. You've got plenty of stats boosts in there as well, so there should be enough within that team to take down the full force battle. For Palkia's full force battle, I went with a team of Rosa and Serperia, Palkia itself, and then Swanna and Skylar again. So Palkia has both Spatial Rend for taking on Dragon types and Hydro Pump for taking down when they're weak to Water. So you have 2 6x supports as well. You've got Rosa can raise Special Attack, which is good because it saves you from having to use New World Order and taking that health hit. You can use your potions from the damage you take from the enemy. But with enough Spatial Rends and Hydro Pumps, you should be able to take this one down no problem. And then Curium switches it up a bit because it's not weak to Ice types, it's weak to Bug types. So the team I went with was Signasuit, Elasa and Rotom, Burr and Leavenny, and Skylar and Swanna. Is Skylar and Swanna the best support unit? I kind of think so. They're at least my favourite ones to put in there. That's by the by. I thought I wasn't sure about Burr as my main striker, that's why I put 2 6x supports with him, and, you know, Rotom raises special attack and reduces sync move. So if you keep spamming through that, you've got healing as well, and evasiveness with Rotom, and then Bug Buzz, you should be able to take this one down. So the big one this week is the return of Cresselia in the Legendary Arena. Because Cresselia has been in there before, you now have new missions to take on. There are 3 of them. The first is to use 3 units from Kalos, the second is to use 3 Dark types, and the third is to use 3 from the Elite Four. So these are the 3 teams I used to do it. First of all, we start with Serena and Delphox, Clement and Heliolisk, and Sycamore and Xerneas. So those are your 3 Kalos types to get you started. This team is about using Sleep with Serena and then self-healing with Heliolisk and Xerneas. It's a trial of patience. It takes quite a long time to start outputting a lot of damage, but if you stick with it, you can see that I took this one down to 4% on the second bar. And that means you've only really got 1 more bar to clear and then you're done. Clement is useful as well because he can reduce both speed and accuracy. This helps in the long term of the battle because you might get some misses in there. It's going to take longer for Cresselia to charge up the move bar and hit you with those bigger attacks later on. Xerneas is doing Xerneas things, so either Moonbeam or Hornleech, keeping its health up. Serena is using Hypnosis to set it to sleep. She's also got Fire Spin that can do trap damage as well. Your first sync move goes to Xerneas because that's going to boost your special attack, special defense and speed. All those are useful for all your units to have. And then it kind of depends on the situation. If Cresselia is sleeping, you want to be using Serena and Delphox because they get a boost from that. If Xerneas is low on health, then maybe you might want to go with Xerneas because that's going to boost the health back up and also refresh the move gauge. The only time you'll be using Heliolisk is if Serena's already fainted and Xerneas has a lot of health and you've got loads on the move gauge. What I thought was interesting is that the sync bonus maxes out at 9, or at least that's the figure that it shows in the bottom. And I reckon I did at least double that in this battle. There's just loads of sync moves. Probably because I was using Xerneas a lot, it didn't do very much damage, so that's why I was able to use so many. I was boosting those stats and getting health back and refreshing the move gauge. But it's a vampire team, isn't it? Because it's sucking your health to replenish, sucking the enemy health to replenish your own. When you get into the second bar, Cresselia gets gradual healing. It's very irritating. You just have to ride it out and hope that you're doing enough damage with Xerneas and Heliolisk. Usually Serena will have already fainted by that point. But if you still have her going, more power to you. You've just got to make sure that you're still getting those big hits in so that Cresselia can't just sit back and keep itself healing. The second team that I used was Karen and Houndoom, Grimsley and Lipard, and Swanna and Skylar. There she is again, she's coming up everywhere this week. The reason I went for that team is because it gives you 2 of your dark types and 2 of your Elite Fours. Konnichiwa. The other reason is that I have Skylar with Antitoxin as her lucky skill. That's very helpful because Cresselia is going to come at you with Toxic, and that's going to go viral, so it's going to make all of your pairs get poisoned. I did a first run and that absolutely sank me because I was trying to get Karen going and doing lots of damage, but she just succumbed to poison too quickly. So you either want someone who's got antitoxin or who can remove their poison status. But this team can output a heck of a lot of damage. You want to be getting Snatch in there quickly from Lipard because that's going to boost its own stats, and then you can use Snarl with Houndoom to reduce the special attack. You get Dark Pulse with Grimsley, which can do flinching and can do a lot of damage. Swanna sinks first for that 6x boost. She's also your healer, your tank, your life partner. And then when I got into the final bar, unfortunately Swanna did faint and I was left with Grimsley and Karen. But at that point Karen was outputting so much damage that I almost had to slow myself down. I was a bit like, I want to do a lot of damage so that my last team doesn't have to do too much, but I don't want to do too much damage that I don't get to use a third team. So I think I got it about right. If you look, it was down to 7 or 14% health, which isn't a huge amount, and it let me come in with my final team on mop-up duty. And that final team was Sawyer, Karen again, this time with Umbreon, and Koga. Koga was a bit of an off-the-wall pick. I thought maybe he could do a bit of poison and then use his passives to raise evasiveness. That's like my standard gesture, isn't it? But Cresselia took Koga down before he could make any kind of an impact, so he didn't even get any poison in there, which was a little bit irritating. But there was enough between Sawyer and Umbreon in there to just do that last few chunks of damage to take Cresselia down. I think Sawyer did faint, but at that stage the next move lined up was from Umbreon and it was going to take Cresselia down anyway. So as you can see, that gets you enough to do all of those missions and get yourself a nice 1,000 gems. So this last little bit is going to be random sort of tidbits. I'm really enjoying the 10 ticket scout thing. That's I've got 5 or 6 5-star units from it, which I suppose isn't too bad, but it's just good to be able to pull those units. What I'd like to see is maybe your 7th day login bonus is one of those, so that you don't save up all your gems and then it's like, I forget what pulling for new units even feels like. Or maybe once you've done 2 or 4, but you occasionally get 10 scouts for nothing. But in next week's video, I'll post all of mine, and you can see day by day how I got, and I'll put how many of each tier I managed to pull. So I said last week that I'd got some bookshelf looking things from the Blissful Bonanza, and I didn't know what they were. Turns out that they are bookshelves. They're collections of either tomes or codexes, and you get one of each type in there, so it's a collection of 18, and that's really helpful for unlocking level caps. The other thing that's been useful for unlocking level caps is the 400 stamina per day combined with the rallies that's been going on. So I've been pouring most of mine into each of the 135 cap unlocks, and it meant that I could unlock the cap for quite a lot more units. And then, as part of the anniversary, they've raised the cap to 140. So it's like, all that work, and I've got to do more. Come on. Come on. The items for it haven't been released yet, though. So yeah, if you're looking to raise to 140, then you'll be waiting a little while. The next event lands on the 28th of August. I'm recording before that, so it might be tomorrow that it releases, it might be the day of its release, it might be the day after when you're watching this, but I'm not there yet. Hopefully you're enjoying it though. As part of it, they've released Steven with Shiny Rayquaza, and it's like, oh, I like Shiny Rayquaza, it looks so cool. It took me so long to get it on Pokemon Go as well, so it's like my white whale, my unicorn, my Sasquatch. There's a new Misty event coming soon. She's going to get Psyduck, she's going to have, it says it's a swimsuit outfit, but it looks more like a gym gear outfit to me. There's mention of a special anniversary Scouts. Hopefully that will be very rewarding for you. I'll share next week what I got for mine. I'm not entirely sure on what it does yet, but hopefully it'll be a good one. And finally, your daily battles for Syncorbs and evolution items are now free. They don't cost any stamina. You won't get any points towards leveling up your trainer rank, but you'll get experience points for your Pokemon, so that'll help my level up team. I have a level up team. I have a team of 3 Pokemon at a time that I think they could use with being at a higher level, and rather than just throwing experience books at them, I'll put them into battles. Don't waste it. And there you go, that was the week that was. Hopefully it's not been too long by the time that I've put this all together. The week that will be is going to be very, very busy, so hopefully you'll have lots to keep you occupied, and it'll be just an enjoyable thing all round. But I'll round that up in next week's video. Thank you very much for watching this one. You're well past the 90-second mark at this point, so congratulations on making it this far. Hopefully I'll be saying congratulations on all the amazing Pokemon that you've pulled next week as well. You can subscribe to the channel so that you know when that video comes along. You can follow me on Twitter where I post it, usually the day after as well. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for watching this one, and goodbye.